Hello, I am Jessie Katz Greenberg, a crafting expert and DIY enthusiast, and today we're going to be talking about how to hang a friends and family photo wall in your home. I used floating shelves for this photo wall. That way I can easily rearrange, add, replace photos as often as I'd like without this wall getting stale. I share all of my creative adventures here on YouTube, so if you're not yet a subscriber, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you'll know exactly when I share my next video. Lay out all the supplies you need to hang your floating shelves. Your shelves will probably come with all of the hardware you need. You'll also need a power drill, a mechanical pencil, a level, and a ruler. I specifically like a mechanical pencil for this project because you can push the lead out as far as you need to be able to slip through the shelf and mark where your screws will go. After a sip of my iced coffee, I was ready to figure out where these shelves were going to go. I held up two of the shelves just to get an idea of where they might go and the spacing. I knew I wanted the middle shelf to be about at eye level. Then I used my level and mechanical pencil to mark exactly where I wanted that middle shelf to go. Making sure this middle shelf was at eye level and sitting level, I went ahead and marked inside the two screw holes, making a pencil mark on the wall. Let's take a closer look at what I'm seeing in the level. So I'm paying attention to that middle bubble and I want it to sit right in the center. So you'll just gently tilt your shelf back and forth until that bubble rests right in the middle there. And then that's when you'll mark your pencil spots for the screws. If you're not screwing directly into a wall stud, you're going to want to use anchors. I didn't have to in this case. But I did begin by drilling small holes that'll make it easier for me to get my screws in later. Replace the drill bit in your power drill with the Phillips head screwdriver bit, and then you're ready to start screwing in your shelves. Now, this would have definitely been easier had I had somebody here to help me, but I insisted on doing this while my husband was working. So I struggled a little bit getting the first screw in especially, but it ended up working out okay. And in a case like this where the front of my shelf has that little lip, you might find it easiest to hold your drill upside down like I am. I like to only screw in each screw about halfway before double checking that everything is level. Just make sure things are sitting exactly where I want them before I go ahead and screw the screws in the rest of the way. You want to make sure that your screws are flush with the back of your shelf because this shelving unit in particular comes with little white stickers that we'll use to cover the screws afterwards. And now to determine the spacing between your shelves. For this, I took my largest frame that I'm going to be using and sat it on that middle shelf. That way I could gauge how much negative space I had above the frame before the top shelf. I was pleasantly surprised that the amount of space I needed was exactly the length of my 12-inch ruler, which made it really easy to just measure everything moving forward. I tested to make sure that the 12 inches made sense for the bottom shelf as well. We don't have kids, but we do have friends and family with little kids that come by, and I just wanted that bottom shelf to be high enough where little hands weren't grabbing things off of it. Now that I'm confident in that spacing, I'll use my 12-inch ruler to make small pencil marks on the right and left side, marking the height of the third shelf, the top shelf, and also marking the height of the bottom shelf. Now you'll mark the placement of your top and bottom shelf the same way you did the middle using a level and your mechanical pencil. But one thing I'm doing different is I have an 18-inch ruler here that I'm using just to make sure that my shelves are centered. So they're aligning on the left and right. Once I'm confident that my shelves are aligned on the left and right, I use my level and my mechanical pencil, just like I did with the middle shelf, to mark those two screw holes. Then proceed to hanging those shelves just like we did with the first one. So I first drilled small holes, then added the screws, and before everything was fully screwed in, I used my level to make sure that things were looking good. And then I finished putting the screws in all of the way. I also double checked that the 12-inch spacing between the shelves was correct here. You inevitably would have created quite a bit of dust here, and you have pencil marks maybe hanging around on your wall and on your shelves. So now is the time to vacuum up all that dust and use a wet cloth or a disinfectant wipe or even soap and water if needed to just clean your shelves and the wall to make sure everything is looking good before we start planning where our frames go. And like I mentioned earlier, my shelves came with little white stickers to cover the screws. So I'll go ahead and do that before moving on to the next step. This is also why it was really important to get our screws flush with the shelf so that these stickers actually laid flat and didn't stick out from the back of the shelf. Lay out all of your frames on a table or on the floor nearby so they're easily at your fingertips while you start to arrange. Now, for this part, you're more focused on arranging the frames, not the photos. We're going to do the photos next. First, I just want to make sure that I have a nice assortment of sizes and shapes of our frames, and then we'll add the photos. I'm a big fan of a colorful, eclectic look, so I'm using some frames I already had, and I shopped a lot of frames at Goodwill and other thrift stores before doing this project. Again, I was looking for different sizes, shapes in some cases, different colors, and we're going to move on to painting a few of them before we finish as well. Personally, I think this is the most important part of this project. So you're going to want to really take your time rearranging these frames, stepping back, taking a look so you end up with a display that you're really going to love. And also keep in mind that the point of having these photos on floating shelves is that you can easily switch them out and rearrange them as time goes on. Once you know exactly what frames you're using, at least for now, it's time to move on to painting some of your frames and selecting your photos. I chose to paint a few of my frames. So, first step is to sand them really well. And you can see here, I'm not necessarily getting off all of that dark stain, but I am getting off any shiny surface so that way my acrylic paint will adhere to the frame very well. And don't forget that inside lip of the frame because you're going to want to be painting that too. Finish by wiping away any dust with a cloth or a damp paper towel. And then once all of your frames you're going to paint are sanded and fully dry, you can move ahead to painting them. You could use spray paint to easily paint a lot of frames at once without any brush strokes, but I have a lot of acrylic paint on hand, so I decided to just lean in and use what I had. In the end, you'll probably want to add a few coats of paint. For most of my frames, I did 2 to 3 coats, and you'll see a special circumstance in the end. And just like with sanding, don't forget that inside lip or the outer edge. I wanted 3 of my frames to be red, but I didn't want them to be the exact same red. So here I'm adding just a little bit of green to the red, which is going to tone it down, desaturate it a bit, so I have a little bit of a darker color red for this square frame. And for this smaller frame that really has a lot of the dark stain left behind, you're going to see that texture through this bright red paint, which I happen to really like. If you wanted a very solid color, then you would just have to add a coat or two of white to the frame first, which you'll see me do with a different frame in just a minute. For this frame, I did end up using 3 coats of the red paint, waiting for the paint to dry fully between each coat, just so I had really nice coverage. This frame, I'm going to end up painting bright green, and I knew the bright green wouldn't show up great on the dark wood, so I began by adding 2 coats of white acrylic paint, letting it dry fully between each coat before I started adding the green. I did 2 coats of green as well, again, letting it dry fully between each coat. I know that here on the table, the bright red and green next to each other is looking like I'm going to have a Christmas photo wall, but I promise it doesn't look like that in the end. I felt like this frame needed a little bit of texture to it, and usually my answer to that is metallic gold. I'm using my favorite metallic gold acrylic paint here. I'll drop a link in the comments just to add some imperfect lines around the edge. You can see that I'm intentionally making these lines imperfect, adding a bit more gold in some places, leaving less gold in others. And honestly, if you tried to do perfect straight lines, it would be frustrating and it looks more fun this way anyway, more handmade. I liked adding the gold details so much to the green frame that I decided to add some bright orange details to the heart frame as well. If, like me, you have purchased all of your frames at thrift stores for this project, the tedious part is going to be cleaning all of your frames and all of the glass. You could use a damp cloth for this, soap and water if your frames are really grimy. I ended up using just some cleaning wipes that I had, and because all of these were coming from the thrift store, I made sure to clean the front and the back just because there was quite a layer of dust on them. And then go ahead and use Windex to clean the front and back of the glass of each frame. I started by doing this with a paper towel and then quickly remembered how much dust that leaves behind, so I switched to a cloth rag instead. It was also easier to have my glass sitting flat on a tea towel, so I could just clean it better and have more pressure while cleaning. And because all of my frames are slightly different, different sizes, it's important to keep the glass with the frame it goes with while things are drying, just so it's easier to put everything together in the end. And now, framing your photos. Some will be easy like this. You might have found a 4x6 frame and your 4x6 photo fits perfectly. But because I've shopped a lot of strange shaped and sized frames, I had some that I needed to cut down. This 3x5, for example, I wanted to cut a 4x6 photo to fit. So in that case, I use the glass of the photo frame as my guide. Place it where I want the photo to be cropped, and then I use my pencil to mark where I need to cut it. The pencil doesn't show up on the photo perfectly, but it does create at least a little bit of an indent that I'm able to see later when I'm cutting, and it's not going to smudge like a pen or even a Sharpie might when I slide the glass across it. Once your photo is cut down to size, you can go ahead and plop it in your frame just like normal. Lastly, I have this heart-shaped frame, which didn't have glass or plexi or anything in it, so I had to use the cardboard heart insert as my guide to decide where I was going to cut this photo. Once your shape is cut out, you can go ahead and insert it into your frame. And I did have to then go back and make a few additional cuts just to make sure it fit nice and flat. Use the cardboard insert as a backing. Even though you don't have any glass or plexi in this frame, it'll at least help everything lay flat. And finally, after all of your hard work, you can go ahead and rearrange your frames on your shelves with the photos inside of them. I made a few slight adjustments to frame placement when I did this, but for the most part, it's actually pretty close to the arrangement that I did when I was rearranging the empty frames. And now that it's done, I love how this looks in our dining room. In our old apartment, we had a more traditional photo wall where I had frames hung on the wall, and I felt like I never rearranged them. I never swapped out new photos because it was just too much of a pain. Now you have a beautiful photo wall that you're going to love looking at every day. It'll be easy to add photos, switch photos in and out, or rearrange things to keep it from looking stale. If you enjoyed this idea, go ahead and check out the other videos on my channel and subscribe so you know the next time I share a craft tutorial. Happy crafting!